the Leroy Slava podcast. Conversations with entrepreneurs that inspire and experts to admire. Now, if you enjoy these podcasts, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell to receive updates of future podcasts. Okay, good morning, Mr. Bulumko Vanto.
That's me.
How are you, my brother?
Good, yourself.
Good, man. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, where you from? Where you coming from? Santon side?
No, not actually. I'm staying in Victoria right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm staying in Victoria right now.
Victoria, but you're working in... Where's your offices?
You know, actually, we've got offices in Woodmead, but more recently we've been working out of Victoria offices because we're consulting for like a firm there. So literally all the days and hours spent there. And also,
okay. So that's not that bad, eh?
No, not at all. And also for like varsity, I've got like a module. I'm finishing that side. So.
You're still in varsity?
Yeah, finishing a module. I got caught by a module. Unfortunately, yeah. So finishing that one.
Okay, nice. Yeah. You're finishing. They sent me after school. They said, go study. I said, what should I study? And then I went and I said, what's available? That should have been a red flag, right? They should have said you shouldn't study.
Okay. You just take anything else.
Yeah, it was PR, logistics, marketing. I said marketing sounds the best out of these that are left. And they told me this was now WITS. This was not university, it was WITS Tech.
Okay.
WITS Tech. Before UJ. Anyway, I went in for marketing. Dude, I was all around that university, all around those classes, never in one, man. I didn't make it past the first 6 months. Okay, this is now not for so guys, young people, because this is obviously, we're talking to Bulumko, he's 23 years old, guys. He's in property, he's bought properties, he's working for a development company, he's going to tell us why, some of the challenges, some of the successes, because there's ups and downs, right? So that's how what the conversation that we're gonna have today. But young people, this is my story. This won't work for everyone. And then I went to Damlin next year. Damlin, study marketing and business management again. Didn't make it past that either.
Okay.
And so I wasted my parents' money 2 years in a row. Still don't have a degree. Still didn't. But then I went on. I'm self-educated. I went on courses and stuff. So, Mr. Vanto, so you completed a BCom in investment management, University of Pretoria. You did your property fundamentals development course through the South African Property Investors Network.
Yeah, SAPIN.
SAPIN. Okay. You're a property entrepreneur since 2020, so 2 years now.
Yeah, I would say 2 years is full, yeah. Because I started with SAPIN fully, I would say 2021 in terms of learning the courses and starting with that, but 2022 is when it was actual like real. Now, okay, we can go look for a deal, we can make something happen. And yeah, 2022 was an interesting one because that was me still in the full swing of my degree, so lectures, all that was us coming out of COVID as well. So they were taking us back on campus. So I had to make like a decision about...
Just move it a bit closer, yeah.
Better?
Yeah, better.
Okay, yeah, so I had to like always make like a decision daily if I'm gonna go to class or go on site, and it was always site. So
it was always site.
I promise you it was always site.
Did you pass?
Yeah, so 2022 was a tough year academically. It wasn't all the modules completed, and so I had to, complete like a module here and there now. So that's also like a difficult thing. Like you have to decide for yourself as well, kind of what's more important. And unequivocally, property, was more important for me at the time. And also it was like a sense of joy, like especially then because I was still staying in Hatfield. And waking up early in the morning to drive to Edenvale because the property was there and doing that, like I got so excited because like I'm waking up early, there's literally like everyone's walking up the road on like Duxbury to go to campus and I'm literally driving opposite way to go to the property. But I loved it and I wouldn't change it, any other way as well. So obviously I'm finishing the degree and all that, so it is still nice to have like the degree as well, I believe so. But I definitely did sacrifice like the academic, side of things. as well. Like, not to even flaunt or do anything, but I think it's important to kind of give context. In the first year of the BCom investment management degree, when there was no property involved, anything like that, and school was the only focus, I really put all my attention and effort into school, and I was like, what's it called? A golden key member, which is like top 15% of the faculty. Like, they give you, like the certificate, the ceremonies online, and all that kind of stuff. So academically, you're like at like the highest of the high, And then 2021 happens, and then obviously now there's a bit more property involved. I'm doing the courses, pastime, all that kind of stuff. 2022, when I said full swing, then the academics definitely dropped off because all my hours are being spent on property and not studying, and having those conversations with my dad are interesting and all that kind of stuff.
What did your dad say?
My dad, I think it was nice once the project worked, because then I could justify, kind of like messing up a bit academically. But, post everything now, he's always expressed to me that he sees that I have, that I have a plan, so he's okay with me. So he says, as long as I have a plan and he sees me actioning out steps, he's like, do what you need to, what I mean?
Hi, Leroy Slava here. I'm a property investor, property developer, and a property coach. So I've been investing for over 10 years in multiple strategies, from flips to buy to lets to multi-lets, commercial property, retail, developments. I've even got a school renting on one of my properties. And I've coached over 100 property students in the last 10 years. And most of them have bought properties. So what I've done is I've put together a coaching program for investors that are starting out. You haven't bought your first property and you want to get into the property market and you want to start investing, we've got a program for you. Or you already invest, you already own 5, 10 properties and you want to grow your portfolio, or you want to restructure your portfolio. You've made a few mistakes and you need help with that. This program is for you. So click on the link below. Contact us, send us an email, and one of our team members will contact you, and we'll see how we can help you on your property journey and help you grow your portfolio. I believe now is the best time to get into property. Okay? And I believe property is the quickest way to financial freedom. So what you waiting for? So contact us, one of our team members will contact you, and we'll get you started on your journey to financial freedom. God bless you. Chat soon. Why property? Because obviously you studied investment management. So I'm guessing there's always, I don't know what they teach you in investment management anyway, but it's investing. Finding numbers, how to work out ROIs and IRRs and all these things. So it must have, because when I started, numbers was difficult for me. I was actually scared because I didn't have maths at school. As I said, I dropped out of these technicons and stuff. It was a fear for me, analyzing and running numbers, so for you it probably wasn't. But what I want to ask as well is, what did your father do? Because why did you get into investment, and was it something that the families investing, they're business people, or was it just something that you've always wanted to do?
So my dad works for Rand Water. He's more so on the account side for Rand Water, like the water accounts and all that kind of stuff. So he's not even in like the investing world himself. Why I chose investment management? Honestly, I was trying to almost, pair something with property, because investment management, like outside looking inside, I'm like, okay, if I'm doing property and studying investment management, like by the time I come out, I'm gonna be
a genius.
I'm gonna be a genius, whatever, But
wait, so you knew before you took the course that you want to get into property?
Yes, I thought about property at the end of matric. I was like watching like YouTube videos in finals for like motivation to study and all this kind of stuff. So you watch a couple of those videos and then it just puts you into the self-development side of YouTube. Then you start getting recommended, you know, the self-improvement stuff, read more, all this kind of stuff, and then eventually property comes up.
Who are you following?
The first property video I ever watched was Grant Cardone, and it was him in his like big car just shouting, shouting at us like
with this much money.
Yeah, so
he's entertaining. I like him too.
He's entertaining. Like, I definitely don't watch a lot of his content, but he was the first person I can say was my introduction into like the property side of things. So that was my first introduction. A friend of mine as well. We were planning to go to varsity together, like the whole group was, because we were in hostel, like, you know, like boarding school. So him and I also specifically were thinking about, you know, career paths that earn like a lot of money, you know, because he was also exposed to money, and he exposed me to money. Like, I came to that, you know, like boarding school in grade 10, so I'm meeting new people and stuff. So anyway, we start searching like literally highest paying jobs, like search highest paying jobs, and we come across like actuaries and those kinds of people. We saw that actuaries was like 350,000 a month. So we thought,
was that the highest actually?
We actually read it wrong. It was an average, I think, for entry level, but that was per year. We misinterpreted completely. So we're thinking, like, we're sitting in his room at the time. If we do 350 a month, like, what can't we do? Like, that's what we were thinking. You know what I mean? So anyway, a year later, we checked the thing on what's the website? Pay scale, and we see it was actually annually, so that was fun.
But I would think actually make more. Actually, like the smartest people.
Yeah, no, like they definitely.
But that's probably entry level, eh?
Property Pick is not a typical property listing platform. It is a property investment platform for first-time or seasoned investors looking for good investment properties in South Africa. Property Pick is also ideal for motivated sellers who want to sell their properties fast. Your first listing is absolutely 100% free. There is no catch. Join our community of property investors and sellers and let us help you along your journey. Go to www.propertypick.co.za and subscribe today.
Yeah, I think it was entry level in terms of, okay, if you finish your degree, you know what I mean? Because we were looking in terms of what we'd be in for, maybe starting off and all that kind of stuff. So funny enough, before investment management, I went into math stats because I didn't get into the actual science degree because I didn't get 80% for maths. They needed 80%, I got 70. So I went into math stats at first and genuinely didn't enjoy it at all. So it ended up changing. But that was kind of the start of property. And also, this is a bit of like the sadder side of like the story. In 2017, my mom had passed away. So no worries. So when everything was happening, eventually a year later, when like the estate was getting, like finished and like wound up and everything, then we were sitting with like my dad and some of the guys that were handling the estate money, and it was me and my sister in the meeting. I've got an older sister and a younger brother from my mom. So we were sitting in the meeting and they're basically showing us kind of how much money is left allocated after the house got sold and all this kind of stuff. And I see this and immediately I know, I'm like, okay, we're in trouble. Like, this is not going to be enough in terms of sustaining us for a prolonged period of time. Especially I was thinking, my little brother, he was like, I think 13 at the time, and I'm looking at his money, I'm like, when he's coming out of high school or whatever, he's going to be in trouble, genuinely. So property was definitely a means of, okay, I need to be able to make a lot more so that, God forbid, anything happens, he can come to me. You know what I mean? He can come to me for financial help in situations, because unfortunately that parental side isn't there anymore. Yeah. So that was really like a core motivation, besides just looking at, okay, I can make more money. So, yeah.
And you were, that was 2017.
I was 17.
You were 17.
I was 17.
So it must have been a rough ride. So now you're losing your mom.
Yeah.
But now you also have to basically think about, okay, you still got your dad. I think a mom was, I lost my dad at 21. But a mom is just more, I don't know,
No, it is that case.
So your mom is more caring,
No.
more loving you with your mom basically more than what you are with your dad, right? I guess.
Of course, I mean, you know, like my parents were divorced, so I literally only grew up with my mom.
Oh, okay.
When I moved back to Joburg, that was 2016, because I spent most of my time in Cape Town before. That's when I moved in and lived with my dad for the first time. So our dynamic was new, you know what I mean? I was still getting to know him. Then a year later, that's when my mom passed. So my mom, in terms of her parental, by that time was like the person I knew very well, and this and that. So that was a whole adjustment of its own. But yeah.
Yes. So now you've lost your mom. You're looking at these figures and thinking, yes, man, this is not enough. And for most people, it's not, eh? Most people think, you know, when they think one day, either when I retire, I'm gonna get so much, and when I pass away, my kids are gonna get, and it's always less than what everyone thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, no, true.
So now you have to go study. Looking at your brother, he's 13. You have to somehow start thinking of him as well. Your sister's older than you, you said. So now you're a bit more motivated than what you were before.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And I guess a lot of people say, you know, when you go to this, what's your why? Because when things get difficult, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
So you got a strong why now.
Very strong why. Yeah.
So now you're studying. You're a great student. You are looking at properties. When do you buy your first property now? Or what type of property? When did you buy it? How do you finance it? Because you're 23 now.
Yeah. So.
They never had a job.
Well, I'm working now.
No, you're working now, but
I'm working now. Like before then, like when I bought the first property, I wasn't working. So I decided to do it, which is, you know, a bit risky, but always, of course. So all the estate money like divided between the three of us, I decided to stay home for 2021 for the academic year.
Yeah.
For the purpose of saving res money and taking all that kind of stuff, and taking, quite frankly, almost my whole portion of the estate money that I had received to put into the property. So the property transferred in February 2022. That's when we took transfer of the property, and then we spent about maybe 3 months or so like renovating. So that was first deal. That was a multi-let in Edendale. So we bought a house that was, you know, quite frankly, just not taken care of. Actually, the previous owner was a guy who was staying overseas now. I bought this property a while back, came back, hadn't been back in the country for 3-4 years, and just saw it, quite frankly, like interior ruined. Exterior still, you know, very, very good, but interior,
How'd you find it?
Doors cracked, you know, dirty carpets. The dining room was still good, funny enough, but everywhere in the rooms you could just see the people just left either in a hurry or a mess, and it was a very old interior. It wasn't tiled, it was, I don't know if it's called like wallpaper, but you know, like when it's like the stick on.
Yeah, I see that.
Exactly.
Like old school.
Very,
I don't even know what you call it, eh?
Yeah, I don't even know, because like the wallpaper's on the walls, I don't know.
Yeah, what's it called, Theo? Tapijt.
Is it?
It's tapijt, that's Afrikaans, eh? In English.
I don't know.
I can see it, and it's like in blocks and
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know what you call it either.
Yeah, so that was the
Tapijt.
case. Yeah, so like that was the case for that. Really not well taken care of. So we got a good price for it. And then I put quite.
Where did you find it? Give us some details. Where did you find? Because this young people are looking at you know these guys want to hear numbers and they want to hear.
Yeah. Let me actually roll back a bit, because at that time when I actually got the deal, I was with a property coach from SAPIN. I was with Mike from Yasport. He was my first mentor and property coach. So I was looking for a couple of deals. We tried one a couple of months before, didn't work out. And then this one, funny enough, he came across because he said he was also keeping his eyes open for me, and because he's very prominent in like the Edinburgh area. So he came across this one, and he was like, actually this one I think would be perfect for you also in terms of what we're working with budget and like that kind of stuff. So that first deal actually came through a lead that he got, you know, so that was a really, really powerful thing about having a coach and mentor, because it's not like I just got this property and
Knew what to do.
Yeah, exactly. Like watched like a couple of YouTube videos. Now I'm a developer, you know, and whatever, I can renovate everything. You know,
Can you not do that?
Well,
Can you not just
now it's
go on YouTube and watch a few videos and then do it, or maybe tell us why mentorship and was important to you, and why it's important for young people that want to get into anything basically, property, whatever it is, whether you want to do stocks, whether you want to start a business, whatever it is you want to do.
Because you don't know what you don't know. Genuinely, you don't know what you don't know, and what people get twisted about watching YouTube and that, especially all the videos I watched initially were American YouTubers, so their context is completely different in terms of like the landscape of their country, laws, and all these kinds of things.
The rates they get,
and all this kind of stuff.
Access to funding.
And also, policy is also so specific to your municipality as well. They might not be dealing with the same stuff. We have a town planning scheme. Who knows what the California town planning scheme or whatever, you know, structure they have there. So that's why it's so important, is because you watch these videos, and even doing these courses, you've got enough to ask the right questions in terms of, you know, doing courses and all that. But at the same time, there's still like an aspect of fear, because I literally put all the money I had.
All of it.
Yeah, like genuinely, like I put like majority of like the money I had into it, because I felt rather this than it either just gets eaten by
you.
Exactly, you know, by like the living expenses of, you know, as well varsity and school.
What your dad saying now this time?
I promise you, to convince him, myself, him, and my mentor went on a Zoom call.
Yeah.
At first, I promise you, and like, you know, like my dad knows the story. The first property I tried to transfer, because I knew my dad was going to be like hesitant and all this kind of stuff. So I'm signing this OTP and all this kind of stuff, and I need a witness.
Yeah.
And at the time, it was only me and him in the house, so I can't even go to like my older sister, just please sign me, because I was thinking of, let me just buy it.
Because the money's not in your account, the money's not in his, you have
Exactly.
access to those funds.
Exactly, but literally because there was no witness that I could use that was near me, and I had to send back the OTP, whatever, soon, and I'm not gonna forge like a witness or anything, because I'm not, you know, anything goes left, I don't want to be caught up. So I go to his room, it's like 7 o'clock at night or something, and I ask him just to sign, like I'm not saying read anything, I'm just saying, hey dad, can you please sign it and be my witness on like this document. And like my dad is very like accurate, like he's not signing anything without reading. So he starts reading, he's like, you're trying to buy a house? I'm like, something like that. I swear, he was so mad, he was so upset, you know, he was so mad, so upset. So,
this is 2022.
This one was 21.
21.
Like the deal that didn't work.
Oh, this the first one didn't work.
Yeah,
oh,
it was like end of like 2021.
Yeah.
End of 2021, after like the course and stuff got finished, I was trying to get it immediately.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was doing that, and he called it off. He was like, "What are you doing? This and that." Yeah, he put the brakes on everything, you know. So then eventually he hopped on a Zoom call with Mike as well, and this and that. And then, you know, Mike was also so like gracious to invite him to the new site and this kind of stuff, and show him that this is like tangible stuff.
Yeah.
And we're using, you know, solid lawyers and all this kind of stuff, like, you know, because parents are very protective. Like, my dad's probably thinking like, these guys are trying to fleece my kid and make money off him and this and that.
Yeah, so
you know, so
I would too.
Yeah,
I would also say, hey,
you know, so after everything was explained, everything was shown, and it's shown that it's real. It's not some flimsy willy-nilly thing. Like, property's getting transferred into my name, into my company, more accurately. It's my company, and he can see that all these things are happening in real. And then once it was done, he went back and, you know, like he should.
So you're buying this property cash now?
Yeah, that one was a cash transfer.
Multi-let. Explain to us what's a multi-let, because I know that most people don't know what a multi-let is.
Multi-let, I would say, if you break up the word, you are letting multiple units on a single stand. You know what I mean? So multi-let for short. So basically, I would describe it as It's a single stand, meaning it's a single house that's freehold, and you are either renting by room or you've sectioned off portions of the house to rent out that portion as a unit and the other portion as a unit. So I would say it's like maybe 2 or 3 families in a house that's been divided, you know, so to put it like that.
Why did you start with that?
I started like that, quite frankly, because the cash flow seemed higher. You know, for example, if you've got 2 or 3 people paying you rent on a single property that you've structured well, that makes more sense to me than just one.
In one, eh?
You know, so
And your risk goes lower because if one, let's say you got 3 or 4, if one doesn't pay, you still get 3 incomes. If you have one doesn't pay, you have nothing.
exactly, yeah, it's like all the eggs in one.
You know, so the more tenants, your income goes up and your risk
just mitigating all the risk.
goes down. Okay, that's good stuff. Why didn't it work? You said this is the one that didn't work.
No, so the Edenville one worked. The one before, because my dad was literally so like stressed out at this point, like he pulled like the parental card and said no, like literally just said like no. And even at that time, like the financing, you know, was actually a bit difficult because the property was, I would say, more than I could afford in a cash sense. So again, I'm watching all these videos and all this kind of stuff, so I'm thinking I can just walk into FNB and just be like, guys, can you do this and all this? I'm talking to a bond originator and he's asking me how much I earn, and I send him my allowance money, and he
Oh, you laugh?
yeah, you know what's funny? He was actually gracious enough to still give me like a decent answer.
What did he say?
He was like, I don't think it's gonna work out exactly how you want it to be, but you know, next time when you're earning money and have like a salary, then we can discuss a proper value and this and that. And I was getting so like creative with it, and I'm like asking my dad, listen, can't you sign surety and this, and he's like mad because he's, you know, just found out it's new, and he's like not even hearing that chat of putting his name on any kind of thing. So that deal was definitely a combination of not getting the financing primarily, and then also him just being so shook by it and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, so it just didn't go through. No, I thought when you said it didn't work, I thought you bought it, but it didn't make money.
No, that one, the first one just didn't go through, but the Edenville one, that was clean went through. Still got it today, still earning cash flow.
And the next one, that's also multi-let.
So I tried a deal, funny enough, here in CB Boxburg, that didn't work. So currently I own one property, but I've tried a deal in CB Boxburg, didn't work. You know of the deal, it's very close to one of your properties. So that one didn't work, and that was end of 2022, beginning of 2023, so last year. And then after that didn't work, because that's when I kind of went up a level in terms of the opportunity I was trying to get into. That deal in CB Boxburg was like mixed use, so there was commercial downstairs, so like shops and like retail stores, and then upstairs there was a couple of units and flats. So now I was going to different funding institutions because I can't go through the conventional bank at that moment, because then again, still not earning a salary. Yes, I'm getting money from the property, but they don't count it as, you know, like the same, like it's very, very finicky. So exactly. So then I was starting to go to funding institutions that, you know, specifically fund those kinds of ideas. I went to like the likes of TAF and all this kind of stuff, and once I got into it and I was drawing up these proposals, like the feasibility, and fortunate enough to sit with TAF and these guys in a room, I understood very, very quickly that there's specific mandates that certain funding companies have. I didn't know that such a deal was too commercial for that funding institution, because I didn't understand what their mandate was fully. So then I took a step back after that deal didn't work, and I said, okay, I'm in a bit of a rock and a hard place in terms of, okay, yes, it's nice, I've got property and, you know, making some money from that, which is very nice and good. But now I'm also an entrepreneur, so I'm also trying to get more and do this at like a high level. But at the same time, I don't have a salary yet because I'm still studying, and I'm having to rely on these funding institutions that kind of fill the gap for us, you know, which is very good. But at the same time, you have to be very good to get the funding, and they have to really trust and like support the idea. So now I said to myself, okay, let's maybe take a back seat, and we spend 2023 to understand where the property money is and where they fund. Then I start to understand a bit more, okay, they really enjoy funding the affordable housing side of property and those kinds of spaces, as well as, how can I say, there's a certain entry point for the number of units they look into. There's certain areas that are very, very specific. So as I'm reading and doing a lot, you know, a lot more of this research, and also emailing these people back and forth, I had some very, you know, nice and gracious people to respond to my emails and answering all these questions. So as I'm seeing this, then I'm thinking, okay, 2023 is happening, okay, cool. The plan is not to purchase anything in the end of this year for the purpose of getting more accurate. So the next time we put in the application, then it's more targeted. Now I've got a higher chance of hitting. So I do that for a while, and that's how I spent 2023. And then maybe to go into the second part of the story, as I'm doing that as well, I'm also understanding that, okay, my property knowledge and IQ has to really jump up, because now when you're going into that world, now you're getting into the world of becoming a developer and all this, you know, big words, and it's like hurdles. So I thought to myself, a multi-let is one thing, but a greenfields project, which means like a project that's like brand new, like there was nothing there, now there's something. And even a redevelopment, like a full one, that's a whole different ballgame, like it's a high level. So then I reach out to a developer that I knew through the network that I'm in, SAPIN, and I basically just have a conversation with him and say, listen, this is my aspiration. I'm trying to get into property development. I'm trying to understand these funding institutions well. I've taken out a considerable amount of time in the year to understand them and do that. Now I also need the actual experience and know-how, so that when I go
on site, speak to architects, speak to QSs.
Exactly. So I basically proposed to him and said, listen, what I've got in terms of a value add to you is work ethic and time. And I don't expect you at this point to pay me anything. I just need to get this experience now, because I'm not going to get it any other way, you know? So fortunately enough, he saw that as a valuable proposition enough to accept. So around October, I started working for a guy named Mark Roman and his company Soundrock Property. So that was a very, very nice window for me, because then I started sitting in rooms and going to certain sites that I'd quite frankly never had access to. Going to sites where they're putting up new shopping centers, going to sites where they're building like a large density of units, and understanding practical things, because like I'm very thankful that my mentor now, Mark, as well, is so specific, and he's not letting me just be the person who takes notes in the meetings and can't ask any questions, and doesn't let me do like the work itself of the, like the development management side of things. So I'm really fortunate to get like hands-on experience in terms of that. Now that I know that as well, and still learning, now when it's time for me to do my own development and this and that, I firstly have the experience, I've got the knowledge, but more importantly, I've got the relationships with the people that we were working with. And now it's like, I believe, going to be a lot more easier, and it gets me to my goal a bit more efficiently.
And your friends, what are they saying now? Well, you busy with this, you bought this, you still have the multi-let, you bought a multi-let 23, it's cash flowing, it's bringing some incoming, well done. But your friends say that you're in the room with, they're looking at actuaries and the income and all that.
It's interesting. So I like to have like a smaller group of friends, but just also like the natural progression of staying in like Reses and Hatfield and that kind of scenario. You have friends of friends, you know what I mean? So you've got your little core group, but then they also have friends, and you've got your friends that you maybe go to class with and this and that. So in terms of my close friends, it was definitely a thing of guys were like, wow, this is pretty hectic and like intense. And what I would do as well is I would take some of my friends to the property as well to like, this is real.
Yeah.
Like this is real. This is like the title deed and all this kind of stuff, just to show them that like happened. You know what I mean? So they were definitely encouraged, and I think also like motivated, because especially with guys, like, you know, we're so competitive that you see someone winning and you're like, okay, I have to win as well. You see someone in the gym and he's like a close friend, he's like, okay, I also want to get, you know, jacked and do all that good stuff. So they were definitely encouraged as well, and it was nice because I had a couple of friends as well start their own businesses and start to make money like that as well. So I saw that, I'm like, now you motivating me as well. So in terms of my close friends, I'm really, really grateful for the group that I have as well. We're a tight group. We literally all went to the same boarding school, lived with each other for years, even in varsity. So yeah, I got lucky in terms of friends. Got very lucky.
Well done, man. Well done. So now you with Mark, you're developing, and I know Mark develops big malls, a couple of 100 million things, and you're sitting in these rooms. Are you nervous? How is it sitting with all these big developers and around the table? Because I remember once I started working for my cousin. I was also in my early 20s, and I was so nervous, and he took me to these meetings, BMW, I would sit there and just sit quiet, and then they would just talk nonsense most of the time, and then they would just talk sense for a short period of time. And but I was very nervous. I felt very insecure, and you just keep quiet, and I was just smiling and just happy to be there.
Smiling away.
Smiling away. I don't know, how do you find it in these rooms?
You know, initially definitely it was a bit of a daunting factor, but Mark also sensed it. So he told me, he's like, just be honest. Just be honest and candid, and just be exactly who you are. Don't try and posture and be like, okay, this person, I've got such and such bright future and I'm trying to do, you know what I mean? Just be exactly who you are, be normal, because they're also personable people as well. And also, fortunately enough for me, like, I find it easy also to speak to people and, you know, like those kinds of things. So we might not be able to relate in terms of the size of deals that we're doing. You know, guys across the, like, you know, table from me are doing literally like hundreds and millions of rands worth of deals, and I've got like my little multi-rate, but we can definitely like relate on like other things. We can like relate on certain life experiences, sport, these kinds of things, and it's about, in my opinion, finding some kind of like what's the word? Some kind of like relatability or connection point as well, you know, because as well, you don't want to just be quiet and say nothing, because then they don't get to know who you are. So when it's time for you to pull off a deal, yes, maybe you sat in the room, but there was no like relationship built in. It still is awkward to call. So it's definitely building a relationship, but also I think also having a genuine care and interest for individuals that you speak to. In my opinion, if you have that, it's really easy to speak to someone. If you're really interested about them, like, you can't tell me that there's an individual who's just flat out boring and there's nothing you can connect with. Like, so yeah, fortunately enough, I got some advice for that with Mark.
That's interesting. And sometimes I think we want to act like we know everything. We want to impress. Impress them. If you don't know, you don't know. Ask the question. Listen, sorry, man.
Exactly.
You guys said this. Maybe can you just explain that to me?
Exactly.
Just so I can have a better understanding of what it is, or what do you think? Listen, I don't know. It's the first time I heard this, so maybe let me process it. I'll come back to you.
Genuinely,
I'll come back to you and
just be honest.
Just
be honest. And there's not much more that you can do, because now they're saying all these financial terms and ratios and all these things, and if you're saying that you understand all this now, the day will come where, since you understand all these things and you're so clever and all this kind of stuff, when someone asks you, because you've postured and you've made yourself seem bigger than you are, now someone asks you specifically about this and that, and now the question is specifically for you, no one's going to help you. Now you must kind of track back and go, I didn't understand that time and this and that. No, just genuinely be honest. Be honest.
But I like that. You know what I like? I like that bravery. Because see where it's got you. They're coming to Mark and saying, listen, dude, I want to learn, I want to shadow you, I don't need money, I want to get the information, get the experience. I actually listen to that and think, you know the book Think and Grow Rich?
Yes.
Actually, I listen to that book the beginning of the year, every year, January. They talk about faith, they talk about persistence, they talk about desire, and they talk about how to expand your thinking and all of that. So I like that book.
Property Pick is not a typical property listing platform. It is a property investment platform for first-time or seasoned investors looking for good investment properties in South Africa. Property Pick is also ideal for motivated sellers who want to sell their properties fast. Your first listing is absolutely 100% free. There is no catch. Join our community of property investors and sellers and let us help you along your journey. Go to www.propertypick.co.za and subscribe today.
And he was saying, he said, listen, why not come to someone and say, listen, this is where I am, this is what I want to do, but let me start, then let me bring value, then once I bring value, then you can start seeing and paying me.
Exactly.
And then people saying, then after a month, Mark starts saying, damn, I can't actually live without Bulumko. Now, he's taken all of this off of me and he's managing so much, how am I gonna...
Exactly.
So now let me keep him.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And what that's doing for you is it's bringing you around people that it would have taken you years on your own to get to that table.
I promise you.
And now you're sitting there just because you were brave to ask a guy to say, listen, let me, and now it's expanding your thinking. Now you're thinking in multi-millions, but now you're thinking in hundreds of millions. Now you see it's possible.
Exactly.
So this guy can do it. How did you get here? No, I also went to Pretoria, studied, then I worked as an agent. Then this, whatever it is, however. And now you're starting to see, okay, now you're expanding your thinking, you're thinking bigger, your dreams are bigger, your goals are bigger.
Exactly. I think as well, just to add, like, oftentimes I feel like property is like a mystical thing to people, once you're in property, everyone thinks, okay, you're just destined immediately for millions, like you do a first deal and multi-millionaire, you have to work again, I think as well something that maybe people don't speak about often enough is the reality of starting off as well. Because I'm fortunate enough now to where like the people that I surround myself in terms of the property space are people that have done things, people that have walked like the journey as well. And they also tell me, it's like, listen, don't ever be scared of working, because the reality is also for property, there is a degree of finance and money that you need to be able to access to get certain deals and stuff that you want. So in terms of me now and how I'm doing it and planning to do it going forward is, fortunately now I'm working for Rock and doing all these amazing things and making money with them. Now I know for a fact that now, because I'm working, I've got more affordability in terms of banks and these kinds of things that I've got access to, and also rolling money that I make personally into my own personal projects, into my own personal portfolio as well. It's not just because you're in the property space, now you supposedly entitled to this financing and all this kind of stuff. It's not. Trust me, I'm someone that has tried lots of financing avenues, and you can get very, very creative and all this kind of stuff. But sometimes don't be so like mystical about it. Go work. Genuinely go work, do this, and keep property as something that you do until it's at a place where you can have it to be your full-time thing as well. Because it's not just going to be from zero to literally like hundreds of millions in a year or plenty of years. It's a build-up, and you have to be able to provide for yourself and for your family in the interim. So
while you're building the investment.
Exactly.
So it takes time, man. I tell my students as well. I tell my friends or whatever it is. I say, listen, it takes time. And people think, okay, you own these many properties, but property is if you consistent over years, you get rich. But it's not a get rich quick scheme. I want to get into property, I buy one, I leave my job. Because what happens is most people have to take out a bond. So you buy a property, let's say $1 million. Okay? You bond that property. property, right? You bonded, you need maybe a deposit or you need transfer fees, you need a couple of bucks.
Yeah.
Now what happens is, so then the rental comes in. Well, let's say the rental is 20,000 or whatever, it pays down the bond of, let's say 10 or 11,700, pays the bond. Now you have management fees, so 10% of that is 2,000.
Exactly.
You have maintenance, let's
Maintenance.
say 5 to 10%, whatever it is, comes down from there.
Rates
Right,
and
you have rates
taxes.
and taxes,
Yeah.
comes down from there. You have, what other expenses is there in there?
Rates and taxes, it also depends in terms of the water and the
Yeah,
electricity situation, how you do that with your tenants, but literally, and also oftentimes people in property don't account for like the risk as well, because now if something breaks because you own the property, you're liable to fix it
Yeah.
and all these kind of things. So those are just the consistent expenses that you're expected to pay in the month. But now what if something goes wrong? Now you also have to fork out more, and it just it brings it down as well. So it's definitely like not like a
So you have to have like a reserve that you put away. So now, out of that, you've got your million rand property, you get your 20, that's a great deal, 20,000 out of a million rand.
Yeah.
But now you're actually getting between 1 and 5,000 rand. So
it's,
now,
it's generally, it's not as pretty as it sounds in the beginning, at least, because you know, there's a guy that we work with, and he left me with such a beautiful quote. He was like, "Don't be short-term greedy, be long-term greedy."
Don't be short-term greedy, be long-term greedy.
Yeah. So how he basically explained it to me is that don't be looking and thinking about ways of making money that make you money immediately, because those things are always short-lived solutions, and quite frankly, if that's the only way that you think, then it always comes to an end at some point, and you have to keep hopping to different industry to different industry, different opportunity to different opportunity. But if you're able to be long-term greedy, and I think property is something that needs that kind of mentality, then you might not be raking in the amounts of money that you'd like to immediately, but if you play that game long enough, and you'll be able to set yourself up, in my opinion, very, very well if you play that game well and play it long. Property, it's a long game. It's genuinely a long game. It's a game of years.
Yes.
It's a game of years.
But it's a get rich, not get rich quick, but if you do it right, get rich for sure.
Yes,
It's
yes.
I didn't watch this YouTube video, but some guy said getting rich is easy. And I didn't watch the video, but I thought about why is it easy, and I thought if you start at 23, or you start at 30, okay, or you can start at 40.
Yeah.
You say, listen, this is what I'm going to get into property, or whatever it is, and my goal for 10 years is to buy, say, property a year. You're 23.
Yeah.
So now you buy, let's use $1 million property a year. You buy $1 million property a year, one a year for 10 years, for 7 years, which means now you own 7 properties. Okay? If you own 7 properties at $1 million, that's 7 million. Now what happens is the tenants start paying that thing down over 7 years. It's not paid up, but the bond is
building.
so the equities come up. Now the property that was worth $1 million, now in 7 years, they say property values double every 7 to 10 years. So the property was worth $1 million now is worth $2 million in 7 years.
Exactly.
Let's just use a perfect
scenario.
Perfect scenario. It's worth 2 million. So now your portfolio has gone from 7 million to 14 million. But your bond has come down to whatever it is over 7 years, right?
Exactly.
And your rental
increasing escalation
has gone up 5. Okay, you can't do 10% anymore. Let's say 3 to 7%.
Yeah.
Your rental has gone up every year, and so now your cash flow is more. So now in 7 years you're worth 14 million, and obviously if you do the same thing over and over, but most guys, you get more educated, you get cheaper rates, you get better financing,
Exactly.
you do better deals, you do bigger deals over the time. So soon you do a development where with Mark you do a 50 million or a 30 million deal, but now in 7 years, just with a consistent, so it might be a boring plan, It's not too exciting, yes.
Exactly, yeah.
You do the same thing.
Same thing,
over
same industry,
in the
yeah.
same. You choose an area. You do it in the same area. You use the same attorney, the same bond originator. You use the same agents, but you have your team, your professional team, your power team. And if you do that, and do not get too excited, then in 5 to 10 years you'll be at a much better place. And if you don't do anything stupid, look, you are going to make mistakes, let's be honest.
Yes.
Even with Mark, with what's his name, Michael, all these guys, you can analyze something and something is unforeseen that comes up where you're like,
exactly.
Wow, I didn't see that happening. There's a war and interest rates jump up, or there's COVID, something no one planned for, and you make mistakes. Maybe you lose a little bit.
Yeah.
But overall, in the long run, I expect you are going to lose here and there. So. Hi, Leroy Slava here. I'm a property investor, property developer, and a property coach. So I've been investing for over 10 years in multiple strategies, from flips to buy to lets to multi-lets, commercial property, retail, developments. I've even got a school renting on one of my properties. And I've coached over 100 property students in the last 10 years. And most of them have bought properties. So what I've done is I've put together a coaching program for investors that are starting out. You haven't bought your first property and you want to get into the property market and you want to start investing, we've got a program for you. Or you already invest, you already own 5, 10 properties and you want to grow your portfolio, or you want to restructure your portfolio. You've made a few mistakes and you need help with that. This program is for you. So click on the link below. Contact us, send us an email, and one of our team members will contact you and we'll see how we can help you on your property journey and help you grow your portfolio. I believe now is the best time to get into property. Okay? And I believe property is the quickest way to financial freedom. So what you waiting for? So contact us, one of our team members will contact you and we'll get you started on your journey to financial freedom. God bless you. Chat soon. So it is actually easy, eh?
You know, I would say...
Let's just be impatient.
You know, I would say, I think like the description I like to use, I think it's simple. I think it's simple but not easy.
Simple but not easy.
Yes, well I say not easy because it also comes with a certain type of discipline, and also discipline itself isn't exactly easy, you know what I mean? Like it's simple, like literally just how you explain, it's as simple as that. But is it as easy to carry out for everyone? I don't think so, because everyone has their own variables they have to consider. Everyone has their own, you know, perspectives and goals. Other people might feel like, okay, I do this deal, whatever, I sell this property, I get a nice house, BMW, I'm done. You know what I mean? Like everyone has their own like goals for it. So it's not for everyone in terms of playing like the long game, because it has to be something that you've thought about and said, okay, yes, this is like the path I'm taking. I'm happy with it. I've pictured it in years to come. I've pictured it knowing that, okay, the fruits of it are going to come later and not now, and I'm content. Then it's fine. You carry out your simple plan, you keep walking your path, and believe and trust well that everything that you're doing is going to compound into what you wanted to output. So yeah, it's simple. It's simple. I would say that.
Yeah, it is. I'm thinking about it now. Maybe I made it sound too. It's simple, but it's also difficult because you get a lot of rejection. Remember, to buy one property, you look at. I haven't counted how many I look at, but I've also looked at hundreds of, not some physically, some online, some whichever way. He says he looks at 100, he buys one. So which means you put in how many offers? Let's say he puts in, I don't know, 50 offers.
Yeah.
Which means 49 people said no. So how do you manage that? Because a lot of people, that's what they struggle with. They say, and I've got people, they say, but Leroy, it's been 4 months, I still don't have a property.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
You know, honestly, like for me, how I view it for two reasons, I think. Because I've already decided this is the industry, then in my personal view, how I've like chosen for myself, I can't pivot. I won't let myself pivot. It's not like, okay, because property hasn't made me like millions in a year, let's try IT, let's this. I've chosen that, okay, I need to give this industry my everything. Like literally give this industry like the next 20 years fully, like full commitment.
Yeah.
And then if it works, it works. If it doesn't, give it another 20, like genuinely just head down in my opinion, because I think about it like as like, there's no way I can suck at something for 40 years if I'm good. Genuinely, there's no way I can suck at something for 40 years, 20 years. If I'm genuinely making like an effort to pursue it, I find that to be like almost impossible, where if you actually making an earnest effort to improve yourself in this industry and to further yourself, that in 20 years, you're not better than year one. So yeah, that's honestly like, you know, like my first reason. And secondly, I'm just really, really competitive. Like I played sport in high school. Like if you said no, okay, that's perfectly fine. Everyone's entitled to say no. But like the feeling when the yes comes, you can't buy that.
And I want to show you.
You know,
You like that? Okay, you said no, I'm gonna show you.
like honestly, like there's definitely like an effort of, you know, showing other person. But honestly, like I really wanna be able to say to myself that I did it. Genuinely, like when the Edenvale property came through, like, you know, funny enough, there was like a site thing, you know, that we did and all that kind of stuff, and then like Mike and them left, and I just stayed there for a second, like I can't lie, like you can't take it away from me. Like, it happened, you know what I mean? Yeah, like you genuinely can't take it away from me. So like that feeling, thank you so much, man. Like that feeling, you really, really can't buy it, in my opinion. So yeah.
So you say you need that competitive. Why? I'm the same, man. I'm also super. Sometimes I don't say it, but inside
in the shower as well.
I'm competitive. If you have to run from here to there, I'm gonna run to one. I'm not gonna. Even though you're 23, I'm gonna try.
If we're playing to win. Genuinely, if we're playing to win. I don't wanna play like any other way. I don't wanna do it half. Like I'm competitive to the point that it's probably like a bit embarrassing even for like my girlfriend, like when you do games nights and like, I play to win, like I want to win. I don't know how else to be.
Yeah, no, that's the same. So, Bulumko, thanks, man. Yes, I enjoyed chatting to you. It's interesting. I feel encouraged. I feel like I'm sure someone listening to it. But you said 20 years, man. What's you? That's different to how most young people are now. TikTok, Instagram. I must be take photos with a Bentley. I must. Some of your peers are probably gonna get out of university, get a super high paying job, get paid 200,000 as an actuary or whatever it is, an investment bank or whatever it is. And now you're looking at properties which take time, and that pressure comes in. He buys a Ferrari now. We're the same age, we did the same thing. And where does that long-term thinking, that patience, that persistence, where does that come from? Because I think not just young people, a lot of with these social media, Instagram, the pressure with these fake success, overnight things.
I started yesterday.
Look what I've done. This is me. I'm great.
You know, for me personally, I think it was in 2020. I decided to like literally get rid of Instagram and like most of like my socials, because I really did feel like the impact of like the noise. I'm scrolling and I'm seeing this like whatever 18-year-old American kid standing there with his like Lamborghini, and he's telling me he did it overnight and this and that. I'm like, first of all, I don't know if it's true. Secondly, he's in a different market in terms of America and South Africa. Being an entrepreneur over there and being an entrepreneur here is completely like, you know, like different ball games. So I wasn't comparing apples to apples. I'm comparing apples to golden apples over that side, you know. So honestly, I really blocked out the noise, so I can't see on Instagram because I don't have it anymore. To see, oh no, so and so is, you know, doing this and that, and he's there with his Bentley and all this kind of stuff. I literally can't see it. And there's a quote that I like, and like I really believe it. A musician once said he likes to sit at a smaller table and put up a bigger fence. So he wants to have a smaller group and protect the people coming in. So being very selective of who he allows in. So I'm not going to be spending time with guys that are only talking about get rich quick schemes, or guys that are, you know, how can I say, thinking short term. Because if I spend a lot of time with them, I promise you I'm going to think short term as well. I promise you I'll pivot
and do something and get into a quick thing. If you send your money to Dubai, send 100,000, you get $1 million in.
Exactly.
In
I'll pivot
34 months. I've made some of those mistakes. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, like I promise you, like I'm not immune to influence. So genuinely, if the majority of people I was spending time with were saying, oh listen buddy, we just made 100,000 in like 10 days and this and that, like come in. And these are all my groups. I promise you I'm not impervious to any kind of influence. I'll pivot. So to not allow myself to pivot, smaller table, bigger fence. Yeah.
I like the focus, I like the focus, and well done for starting young, well done for the focus, well done for the discipline. The book, Get Rich, what's this? Think and Grow Rich. Napoleon Hill says in it, he says most people, which is different to what we see now with this instant gratification, the social media, he says most people only start making money in their 40s. I'm not going to scare you now because I'm 17 years away. He says that most people only start making real money in their 40s, and they really get rich in their 50s, because when you're in your 20s you doing stuff, finding a way. In your 30s you start specializing. Now you found something that you're good at and that you like, and now you're perfecting that thing through your 30s, and you're making the mistakes and you learning and growing and forming relationships, and you're a bit more confident in your 30s, what you are in your 20s, and then you start mastering in your 30s, and in your 40s you start really rolling with it, and then in your 50s it's now the big bucks start flowing, which for me is I'm 39 now. But it was interesting that you need to work at something for a while before you become an expert in it. You need to specialize. If you jump from this to that, even in property you need to specialize. You can't be doing warehouses and malls and building affordable, and
because you'll never be great
at anything.
At one of those things, you know, like at some point you have to say, I've tried all these things, I prefer this one works best for me, all the effort goes into here, and fingers crossed we got it right.
Great stuff. Last words of advice for a young person listening to this who's saying, listen, I want to get into property, or maybe anything else. I don't know. Everyone's not going to do it. Everyone should get into property, by the way. Even if you're focusing, let's say some of your friends is an actuary, but where's he going to store that money that he's making that 200,000-300,000 rand a month? It has to go somewhere. It has to go somewhere, and he has to build an asset base that eventually, if he wants to stop being an actuary or he wants to retire, that this portfolio is paying him the same amount that job paid him.
Exactly.
So maybe some advice for young people, because I don't know always what to tell a young person that wants to get into it.
Yeah, I would say you have to be okay with knowing that the game is a patient one. If you really can't wrap around your head that you have to have a patient mentality and things aren't going to turn as fast as you perceive they do, then you won't do it. So truly understand that you have to be patient. Until you, until you understand that, you'll move to anything and everything that has a bigger number. Anyone shows you a bigger number, supposedly, the number might not even be real because you maybe not be able to like decipher if this opportunity is exactly what it says it is. But if you really don't fully commit, you'll shift every time. You'll try this industry, you'll do that industry, and it will net zero at some point, because if you spend a year there in this industry, a year in that industry, a year over there, and you keep shifting, you'll never get a chance to actually build up experience in any of those industries. So having like a patient mentality, I would say.
Patient, what was the second one you said? Patience and focus. If you said
basically just committing to
commit, that's
yeah.
what you said, committing.
Yeah.
Be patient and commit.
Be patient and commit, yeah.
And there's money, for us that are in property now, there's money around it as well. So you buy the multi-let, okay, and you're getting your cash flow. Okay? But now you're working for development company, which means you guys are earning fees as well.
Exactly. Earning
fees, you can source a property,
professional fees
to someone as well.
Exactly.
You can manage. Now you've got a portfolio of when it starts being feasible, you start managing it. So now you're managing it, you're getting the cash flow, you're sourcing, or you're selling, or you have professional fees. So there's money, little you can make around that property as well.
I promise you, there's really like an ecosystem, and even in the last couple of months, like my eyes have been open to different ways of making money in property. Like, I don't know, commercial leasing was a thing, you know, a couple of months ago, and all that stuff, you know, all this kind of stuff, like putting national tenants into shopping centers and these kinds of things. Earns good money. Earns good money. So yeah.
My man.
All that kind of stuff.
Bulumko Vanto.
That's me.
Eh? The course Italian.
Something like that. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us, my brother. Yes, so I'm inspired, you're encouraged me, and we're proud of you. Well done. Keep going. And yeah, man, sky's the limit. Eh?
Thank you for having me, genuinely. I appreciate it.
Where do we get hold of you if we want to learn from you? If young people, whoever, you know more than most people, do they want to contact you? Anything that you're offering? Anything that I don't know.
I would say if you genuinely like to reach out to me, most likely LinkedIn, because again, like I said, I'm on Instagram and you know, like those things. LinkedIn, you search my name, you'll find my profile, and I'm willing to communicate and really give some cues and tips and ideas in terms of property. And also, I like it to be more of like a discussion, because someone might message me and they're also teaching me certain things. So yeah, genuinely a discussion. Like I'm here to meet people who are in property and people who also have that long-term reading mentality. So I would say LinkedIn, my name and surname, and you can find me there.
My man. Yeah. God bless. Like, share, subscribe. Bulumko said faith and patience. Oh, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Commitment and patience. I'm just changing it slightly. Faith and patience. God bless you. See you next week.